Soon, this cow will turn into a horrible parasite, and it's all my fault, because I installed the Skulk Horde mod. It brings real danger to your survival, but for now, everything is fine, because to walk in the ancient virus, we need to go underground and find the Skulk Tomb main. Finding it is pretty easy, since the dungeon always generated at the center of the world. Going there without gears is very dangerous, and once you open the obsidian doors, there might be no way back. The Skulk Tomb main is a huge dungeon created to hold back the intelligent Skulk virus. Inside the dungeon, there are many rooms with valuable loot, but to stop the infection, you need to go down to the lower chamber. In this chamber, at the very center, there is an ancient brain node. It is a brain that unites all Skulk Parasites to achieve one goal: to destroy your world. I'm moving carefully, crouching, and in front of me, there is a mysterious chest. Okay, let's pretend I don't know it's a trap, and that I really should leave this place as fast as I can. And opening it, oh no, it's a trap! Who could have guessed? Inside the tomb's main chamber, there are many Skulk sensors. If they pick up signals from a player in survival mode, the ancient brain node will wake from its long sleep and immediately begin sparing the infection. The infection has 3 stages of development. At each stage, new types of parasites appear in the world. The transition to a new stage happens through biomass. Parasites produce this biomass in beehives or obtain it by infecting regular creatures, but we'll talk about that later. I barely scared that room, and maybe you think you can destroy the ancient brain node to stop the infection. And you're right, but you can't destroy it using TNT or tools. To stop the ancient brain node, we'll need to grab the heart of parody. As there was escape in the dungeon, the world began to change. Now, Skulk phantoms started appearing. These flying parasites, unlike their regular versions, spawn even during the day. When they attack, they apply the disease-cyst effect, which deals damage and can infect nearby mobs if they're close to their original victim. Over time, the phantoms fall to the ground, becoming a source of infection. The Skulk infection spreads quickly, turning blocks into infected ones. New plants appear on the Skulk, and one of them is the Skulk Spike. Stepping on it gives you the absorbed effect. Once the effect ends, a gross Skulk might and some Skulk biomass come out of you. This biomass gives growth points to the ancient brain node, helping it move to the next stage. A few seconds later, another mite appears from the biomass, and nearby blocks turn into infected ones. Skulk mite is the first of the new parasite. It's small and weak, but it can crawl into living creatures. If the health is below 50%, the victim then gets the Skulk infected effect, and the infection cycle starts all over again. There is also a second type of mite. Look at this nasty one! It's the mite aggressor. It's just as small and annoying as a regular mite, but how I see it can crawl into mobs or players, so I think it's not as dangerous. Most mobs, except for phantoms, don't spawn randomly in the world. The collective mind won't waste biomass points unless there is a real threat. But don't relax. In infected areas, Skulk summoners can appear. They activate through Skulk sensors and use biomass points to summon various creatures. One of these creatures is a Skulk zombie. It's slightly stronger than a regular zombie and looks a bit infected. Skulk Spitter looks like a skeleton with a heart, or maybe a stomach inside it. Instead of a bow, it shoots a static mass. When it hits, a static mass applies the corroded effect, which deals damage. By the way, you can get a static mass as an item. To get a static mass, you need to skillfully dodge the Skulk Splitter's attacks. If it should hit a block, you can collect the static mass, and you can throw it. I'm not sure why you do that, since it's a pretty questionable weapon, but it's cool that the mod included it. The Skulk Hatcher looks like a sick version of a cow. This parasite attacks targets with more than half of their health. It can also summon mites, but doing so drains its own health. Water is no longer a safe place either. 2 new monsters appear in it. The Skulk Salmon is essentially an underwater version of the mite. It attacks, and when its target has less than half health, it explodes, applying the Skulk infected effect. The second water monster is the Skulk Squid. It swims around, searching for uninfected creatures. Once it finds one, it attacks, releasing ink that blinds the target and infects it with the Skulk infected effect. Honestly, the squid looks really cool. I wish the mod had more unique and original mob design like this. The Skulk Spore Spewer is a support creature for the ancient brain node. It doesn't attack, but spreads spores that infect the world around it. These spores also apply the Skulk infected and Skulk Lure effect. The Skulk Lure effect allows parasites to see targets from farther away. Besides infecting other creatures, Skulk infection has another way to progress to new stage. Sometimes beasts appear in infected areas. Bees from these nests collect Skulk pollen from infected plants, giving more biomass points to help the infection spread. Oh, under the bee nests, there can be Skulk beneath cells. Over time, they fill with resin, which you can collect with shears. This resin is used for crafting, which I'll also show you later. But if you don't want to see the parasites to reach the next stage, it's better to destroy the bee nests. When enough biomass is collected, the mature stage begins. New types of parasites unlock, and Skulk brain nodes can appear in the world. They're easy to find because of the loud heartbeat sound they make, which can hurt from far away. There can be up to 4 brain nodes in the world, spaced at least 300 blocks apart. The Skulk brain nodes applies a darkness effect and quickly infects the area around it. Nearby cellular pillars generate calcite ore. Using a sense of purity and an ender eye, you can craft an eye of purity. Its sense of purity is made from amethyst shards and a golden apple. The eye of purity points to the nearest Skulk brain node, which is helpful if you've been searching for a while. The brain node blocks itself is covered in Skulk durham matter, which you need a diamond pickaxe to break. Underneath, there are layers of Skulk arachnoid, which require a diamond shower to remove. You need to destroy the Skulk brain node quickly, because it can regenerate. Once destroyed, the node drops a chunk of brain. This item is needed to craft a tool that can stop the infection for good, but I'll talk more about how to fight the virus later. As for mobs, only a few are added in the second stage. The first is the Skulk creeper. It doesn't destroy blocks. Instead, it leaves a cloud with the disease cyst effect and infects the area around it. The Skulk pufferfish lives in water. If it sees another parasite, it swims toward it and explodes, leaving a regeneration cloud. However, if it targets a regular creature, the explosion instead causes a poison effect. Even pillagers couldn't escape the infection. The Skulk Vindicator looks very cool and unique, because it has a shuriken growing out of his head. Other than that, it's a regular Vindicator, but he moves much faster than normal mobs. The Skulk Ravager deals massive damage, and can even carry other parasites from the mod on its back. Reaching the third stage of infection means that there can now be up to 8 Skulk brain nodes in the world. At the ancient Skulk brain node can start raids. A new monster also appears. Look, this is Skulk Witch. She can boost nearby parasites and throws poisons with debuffs. The Skulk Witch can also turn invisible if she's health drops below half. Now let me explain how raids work. When a Skulk parasite dies near an infected area in the third stage, the ancient Skulk brain node can send a Skulk Enderman to the location. If the Enderman finds a player or something unusual, like a base or a village, a raid will start there. With the Skulk Lure effect, your location will be tracked, and all the places you've visited will be checked as potential raid targets. Once the Enderman finds something unusual, an infestation of parasites will begin after a short time. To stop this, you need to kill it immediately when it appears. But if you don't, you'll have to fight through 10 waves of Skulk monsters. Each wave lasts a maximum of 50 minutes, like with a regular raid. You must kill all the infected to win. Each wave included a right number of parasites and Skulk creepers. The creepers will try to destroy priority targets like beds, doors, crafting tables, and other available items. In the final wave, you'll face the Skulk Enderman. Dude, he's so powerful. That was really tough. After winning, the area within 1000 blocks of the raid site will be protected from invasions for 5 real-world hours. If you lose, the surrounding area will quickly become part of the Skulk Empire. When the Skulk Enderman dies, he drops a Skulk Enderman Cleaver. With it, you can craft the Skulk Sweeper. This weapon deals health damage to non-parasites, but when attacking Skulk monsters, it charges a powerful strike. The strike sends spikes under the parasites, lifting them into the air. Let's move on to the methods for fighting the infection and wiping it out for good. By combining calcite clumps with Skulk resin and pure souls, you can craft the infestation purifier. Pure souls are made from essence of purity and crying souls, which come from infected crying obsidian. The infestation purifier destroys Skulk blocks and parasites in its range. Parasites will try to destroy the purifier, so you shouldn't go far from it. Using essence of purity, you can craft a purification flask. Throw it into an infected area to cleanse the infection within its radius. radius. If you're in the flask range, you'll gain the purity effect, which removes negative effects from the mod and damaged parasites. If you need to protect a specific area from infection, you can craft an infestation ward block. This block prevents infection from spreading within one block around it. To permanently destroy the Skulk virus, you'll need to create the Heart of Purity. First, craft the dormant heart of the Horde, then craft a soul holster and place it. Kill mobs nearby to fill its soul gauge. Once it reaches 100%, the soul holster will create the Heart of the Horde. Finally, combine the Heart of the Horde, Essence of Purity, and Pure Souls to craft the Heart of Purity. I've got Heart of Purity now, and we finally have a real chance to destroy the Skulk virus forever. But to do that, I'll need to head back to the Tom main. While I'm on my way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really motivates me to realize new videos. To destroy the virus, you need to activate the Heart of Purity on the Ancient Brain node. Whew, finally done! After activating the Heart of Purity, the Ancient Brain node will be destroyed. Over time, the world will cleanse itself and return to normal.